Good day, students, and welcome back to Computer Practice with Mr. H. And in this tutorial, we are doing question 4 of the task. The question paper for this particular tutorial you will find, or you can download in the description section just below the video, as well as whatever data source file you're going to need. So, question 4. We need to go and create the following spreadsheet, which is this document over here. And we are going to be asked to go and calculate the number of days, the room size in square meter, and the hours and minutes worked until lunch. And there must also be a pivot table inserted at some point. Now, what we are going to do is, I'm going to skip number 2 because a header and a footer needs to be inserted. Text wrapping needs to be applied to the columns or the column headings, and we're going to jump straight into the formulas. And the formulas is we have to go and calculate the number of days by making use of the departure date and the arrival date, and use absolute cell referencing, departure date and arrival date, which is this one. So we have to make use of the departure dates and the arrival date. We have to go and calculate or use the reference table and make use of the appropriate spreadsheet function to determine the room size in square meters. So we will have to use this table to determine the room size, and that implies that it's either going to be a VLOOKUP or a HLOOKUP. Then C, we have to go and calculate the hours and minutes worked until lunch by making use of daily lunch time and the absolute cell address of daily start time in G2. So that means we have to use this information over here and this information over here to get this answer. And lastly, we have to go and calculate the hours and minutes worked until lunch. Determine by means of creating a pivot table the total days the managers will be spending at the workshop based on the instructions below. So we have to go and create a pivot table based on these instructions. All right. So first of all, we have to go and create this table. Now, I've already created mine, so you need to go and create yours. I have indicated the parts that we need to go and calculate in yellow, but I left the time and the date sections open because I want to show you how to insert time and date. When you have to go and insert a time or a date, like 1 October 2020 for the arrival date, please take note of the following. The date is 01-OCT-20, the 1st of October 2020. The formatting looks like 01-OCT-20. That's the formatting. So before you do anything, go and prepare your cell, go and format your cell before you type anything in there. So what you're going to do is you can either right click and go to format cells, or you can go to number. Under the home tab, you can go to number and click on the group launcher, and then you go to date, and you can select the formatting that looks similar to what you need to create. The only problem here is the year is first and it's a full year, then it's the month, then it's the date, but there's dashes. If you do not find what you are looking for under date, then you can go and to customize. Under customize, you have to go down the list until you get to the date section. And here we find something that looks very similar to what we need to use. Let's just go back to the question. 01-OCT-20. All right, 01-OCT-20. So 3 letters are for the alpha for the month, 2 digits for the day, 2 digits for the year. So it's this one. And then you click OK. So you have now prepared this cell to look like what you need to produce. So then you type in your address, and you can type the full date in there, 1 October 2020. And when you click somewhere else into another cell, the cell will become converted to what it needs to be. Now let's go to the next question. Then let's look at the date, the start date time, 08:00, 8 o'clock in other words. So it's basically the same concept. First, go and prepare. So you go into your number field, you go and select your custom, and you go and look for a date that looks similar to what you need to go and create. It's no longer a date, sorry, it's a time. So hour in minutes. Hour in minutes. So it's this one, and you click OK. And then you can type in your time, which is 8:00, and it will be converted to what it needs to be. When we go and insert our departure times, same concept. But this time around, it does not look like the arrival date. In fact, it is the first, it's the year first, and it's a full year, /10/07. So the 7th of October 2020. So that's what we're going to try to produce. We are going to go to our number, and we're going to go to date, year dash month dash 14. All right. There's no dash, there's no forward slashes. So if we can't find what we're looking for here, let's go to custom, and let's see if there's an alternative option under custom. There we go. Year/month/day. But there's a problem. If we go and check, no, it is correct. There's 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, 4 digits for the year. All right. So the option that we have to choose is in fact this one, 4 digits for the year /2 digits for the month /2 digits for the year, for the day. So it's this option, and you click OK. So you've now prepared, and then you can copy this information down. All right. You can remove the borders, more borders, take the borders away. All right, looks like that. So now we are ready to insert our information, and it is 2020-10-7. So I'm just going to continue filling in this information. The 7th of October 2020. 7 October 2020, and it gets converted, and I'm going to continue filling in the rest. All right, so after you have completed your dates and your times, now you are ready to go and do the calculations. So let's look at our information, or let's look at the question. Calculate the number of days by making use of the departure date and the arrival date. So if we go back to our spreadsheet, Mr. Harmsa, these are all managers. All right, so they're going on a manager's workshop, and this is the timetable that they're going to follow. We have senior managers, and they are manager A, B, C, D, E, and F. And we have, for example, manager 1, Mr. Harmsa. He arrives on the 1st. All of them, in fact, arrives on the 1st, but they will depart on different days. So we want to know how many days will each manager actually stay. All of them arrive on one particular day, but they leave on different dates. All right, so Mr. Harmsa, let's go and calculate. So this is basically a difference. We want to know what is the difference between the 1st of October and the 7th of October. And we know that the difference is going to have to be 6 in this case. But let's see if we use it, a formula, if we also get to the answer 6. So it is basically equals, and we take our latest date, which is the departure date, and we minus it with the arrival date, 6. Copy the formula down. Now, why do I now get hash values for answers? I missed a crucial step, which is use absolute cell addresses or referencing. And that is why. So please remember, if you get hash values, implies that you did not use cell referencing. All right. So please, the moment you see the hash values, you need to realize, oh my word, I need to go back and I need to go and apply my cell referencing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my answer, my original answer, and I now need to go and apply absolute cell referencing. But how do I know which particular cell I need to use? The answer is very simple. Absolute cell referencing is basically you locking in a cell. You're locking in information because you want to use one cell and you want to apply that one cell to many different cells. All right. So in this case, you want to reference the arrival date. There's only one arrival date, but there are many departure dates. So you want to reference the arrival date and apply it to all the different departure dates. And as you can see that the departure dates are blue and the arrival date is red. So it's C4. And all that you need to do is you click on C4 on the cell there and you press F4 on your keyboard. If you're using a laptop, that means you will have to use your function key to activate the F4 key on your keyboard. Once you've inserted your $signs or your referencing symbols, then you can click on Enter. And if you copy the formula down, it should fix the problem. And I'm just going to take the borders away so that it looks like it should be looking like. All right, so that's how you do the number of dates, and it's important that you first customize the dates so that your formulas can also work. Next question. Use the reference table. The moment that they are referring you to a reference table, you need to know this is going to be a lookup. Now, all that you need to now know or need to determine is whether it's going to be a VLOOKUP or a HLOOKUP. Remember, a VLOOKUP is a vertical table. In other words, where the headings are on top of the table. And a HLOOKUP is where the headings are on the side of the table. Now, let's see. Make use of the appropriate spreadsheet function to determine the room size in square meters. So they want us to determine the room size in square meters. And the heading for room size is on the side. It's not on top. On top we have the managers. But we want to determine the room size, so it's on the side. In other words, this is a horizontal table. This is a horizontal table. We're reading from the side. The heading is on the side. We're reading from left to right in a horizontal manner. If room size was on top, for example, we would have read this from the top down, which would have been a vertical table. In other words, we would then have to apply a VLOOKUP. But in this case, we're reading the contents from the side in a horizontal manner, so it's a HLOOKUP. So let's go and do that. Basically, each manager will get a different sized room, probably based on their seniority. So manager A he only gets 10 square meters. Manager B gets 12, manager C 14, 16, 18. So it gets larger the lower we get or the higher we get into the letters of the alphabet. So let's see. And here they are all scrambled because they are they are departing on different times. So they are all scrambled. So we want to use this table to determine who gets what room size. And we're going to use a Hlookup, a horizontal lookup, to determine that. A horizontal lookup. All right. And each room size is attached to a manager. So it is based on the manager. The room size is based on the manager. The room size is based on the manager. So let's see. We're going to click on formulas, and it's a lookup and reference formula, and we're going to go down this list until we see Hlookup. If we can't see Hlookup, we can always just click on insert function and search for an Hlookup if we can't find one. And there's 3 lookups that we can use: an Hlookup, lookup, or a VLOOKUP. In this case, we're looking for a Hlookup, and we're going to click on OK. And then we get the function argument box. And what's important about the function argument box is there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sections that needs to be inserted, but only 3 of these sections are in bold. All right, so they are very important. You can't do the lookup if you do not fill in anything into those sections. However, the last one isn't bold. That's optional. You don't always have to insert something into that section. However, you must insert something into the bold sections. All right, so let's look at it. First of all, what is my lookup value? In other words, what is my answer based on? What is going to give my answer? And I explained earlier, the manager, the square room, the size of the room is dependent on the manager, the type of manager. All right, so the lookup value is the manager. What table am I going to use? I'm going to use this table. And sometimes I can even give this table a name. All right, I'm going to close this so that I can give this table a name. If there's already a name, I'm just going to delete the name. I'm going to click on Name Manager. I'm going to just delete whatever is in here already. Close it. So now I'm free to go and name my table. Select it, and in the name box, I can give it a name. Let's call it Manager. Enter. So I gave my table a name. So if I select this area again, there's actually a name there. And under the Formulas tab in the Name Manager, I can actually go and create also a new one. I can edit the name, or if I made a spelling mistake, and I can delete it there as well. All right, so put my cursor where it needs to be. Go to Lookup in Reference, Hlookup. My lookup value is based on the manager. The table that I'm using is this table, and you see there, now the name appears. Or I could have just simply have typed in the name that I gave, and it will also appear. It will also appear, as you can see there. And then what row in this table that you chose will holds the answer. In this particular table, there's only 2 rows. The first row is the managers, and the second row is the room size, and that's where the answer lies. So in the second row of the table, which is row number 2, and then you click on OK, and there you see an answer. Manager A is 10 square meters. 10 square meters. Let's see if we copy the formula down, what will happen. Manager E should be 18. There's Manager E, and it's 18. Manager D is 16, manager D is 16. So basically my answers are correct. Again, I'm just going to fix the borders. Home, border, more borders, add a border at the bottom, and take the border inside away, and click OK. All right, so that's how you do a HLOOKUP. A VLOOKUP works exactly the same. It's just a table that is different. Right. Let's look at the hours and the minutes worked until lunch. Now let's see. Lunch is served at, well, each person actually took different lunch times. Like manager A over here took lunch at 11:30 and he started at 8 o'clock. All of them are starting the same time at 8, but they have lunch at different times. So we want to determine who actually worked more before lunch, before they took lunch. And if we just look at the example or look at the times here, manager F is the only one that actually worked, started at 8, but he only took lunch at 2. Manager A, however, started at 8, but took lunch at 11:30 already. So let's see how many hours did each person actually work before they took lunch. So let's see. For that, we need to go back to the question. Calculate the hours and the minutes worked until lunch by making use of daily lunch time and the absolute cell address of daily start time. Display the answer in time format. All right, so it's basically almost the same as what we did here, but this time we're working with time. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to press equal. We are going to take the latest date, which is the lunch time, and we're going to minus it with the earliest date, which is the start time. All right, big minus small. And then we're going to press enter. We're going to copy the formula down. And again, what did I miss? I see there's values. So I missed an absolute cell referencing. So I'm going to go back to my first cell. Okay. The only digit here, or the only value that I have here, I have one start time, but I have many lunch times. So this is my absolute value. And I'm going to activate my F4 key to insert my absolute cell referencing. I'm going to press enter and I'm going to copy the formula down. All right, but then what is this? Is this what is this time? No, it's not. Remember what the question specified. Display the answer in time format. So to fix that, all you need to do is you just go to the number group and you change the formatting to time. You can also remove any extra digits there. So the difference between 8 o'clock and 11:30 is apparently 3 hours and 30 minutes. I'm just going to remove the borders as well. So we have a better view. So 3 hours and 30 minutes, 4 hours, 4 hours and 30 minutes, etc., etc. So manager Mr. Bell, manager F, he also has the biggest room, and he worked for a whole 6 hours before he took lunch. All right, so that's how you do that calculation. Thank you, students. I'm going to end this tutorial here, and please join me in the next tutorial where we will be discussing question 4, which is the pivot table. Thank you for watching.